Hello, welcome to Mart's garage. Something has been bothering me, and it's to do with the charging. I had a problem where the car wasn't charging very well. It was charging, but only just about, and not very high. And for instance, it wouldn't maintain the headlamps, the drawer of the headlamps. So I swapped another voltage regulator on, which wasn't any good, and then I swapped another voltage regulator on, which initially wasn't working, but I fiddled around with it and got it working, and as it was, straight as found in the shed, it charged at a reasonable rate. But what's been bothering me is, why didn't I go the extra step and work out what you need to do to adjust it? So I thought I would swap my original one back on, maybe clean it and check some dimensions and things, and then try and set it up. I think that would be more interesting than just doing a component swap. A component swap fixed it, but you know, we want to know how to do it, don't we? So the voltage regulator is located underneath here, down there. So I think I'll remove this one and keep it in my back pocket as a, you know, my go-to regulator if I have a problem with what I'm about to do, and I'll fit the original one that I had on and try and get it to charge better. Okay, righto, I'll bring it back when I get further along. Okay. Right, there's two screws at the back of there. Now this is the cutout, so I'm not going to touch that, but that one there is the voltage regulator. I might measure some of the gaps and look to see what the gaps are relative to the workshop manual, because it does cover this. Because if I can undo this screw, for instance, I can clean the contacts really well. I can't really clean them very well at the moment. That screwdriver does fit. Okay, so I'm going to measure the gap there. When I press that onto there, I'll measure that gap. So there's the contacts for the voltage regulator. So if I pull this down and measure the gap, I can reset it again after to the same gap. And there's the screw that you wind in and out. Can you see that there's paint on it, like a tamper-proof paint, so that, you know, if this was returned as a faulty unit, they would be able to say, oh no, you've been fiddling with it. And the way this works is the power to energize the field coils goes through this, and when the voltage builds up to a certain degree set by that screw there on that spring thing there, it breaks it and kills the power to the field, which de-energizes it, and then it makes it again, which builds it up to a certain level, then it breaks it again. So it's constantly fluttering. So that's how it works. So it shouldn't be beyond the wit of man, should it, really? Well, that's a 9 thou feeler, and that's tight. That's 8 thou, and that just goes in. You know, nice sliding fit. Okay, so that's 8 thou. Let's have a look, see what the workshop manual says. There's the thing. What it says is it should be 15 thou gap between the fixed, oh no, hang on, yeah, 15 thou between the bar and the core. So I was measuring there, so let me go and measure it differently and see what I can measure there. Yeah, that's a tight 15. Yeah, it's more like 14, but that's okay, I'd say. That's about 14th out there. Now, you must understand. Yeah, that's why I get a smaller measurement there, because it pulls down towards this edge, doesn't it? It's like a ratio. Okay, I'll undo this and clean up the contacts and then refit it and reset that there to 14 or 15 thou. Okay. Okay, I'll get a little bit of wet and dry and just clean that. Got a bit there. Okay, that's a 15 thou feeler. I might try loosening these actually. Okay, that's a nice sliding fit at 15th. I just need to do the lock nut off. That's 15th out. Okay. But without a good contact on those points, it won't charge at all. So I'll fit this now and then start fiddling about with the adjustment. Okay. Now, think, can I get to that screw? Only by having it out here like this. Look at that bit right. Okay. Let me just read up on the instructions. Don't understand that. Insulate, it says here, insulate the cutout points with a thin strip of mica, or withdraw the cables from the terminals marked A and A1 and join them together. Connect the negative lead of the test voltmeter to terminal D on the regulator and the positive lead to a good earth or the E terminal. Adjustment must be made with the regulator cold, that is, immediately on starting the engine. The atmospheric temperature should be noted by means of a thermometer. Start the engine and gradually increase the speed until the voltmeter needle flicks and then steadies. Approximately 1500 generator RPM. This should occur at a voltmeter reading between the limits given below for the approximate temperature of the regulator unit. Right, it's quite cold today, but the closest one I've got there is 10 degrees C. 15.7 to 16.1. So, okay, I've kind of got the idea. I don't know why you have to disconnect the armature though. So I'll wedge this bit of plastic in there. Okay, voltmeter. The problem is with these is that it's such a dirty ignition signal, it affects the voltmeter. So I don't quite know how I'm going to do that. Let me try. I might have to just do it by going off the ammeter if this doesn't work. Okay, I'll reconnect the battery. Which terminal did it say to go on? Connect the negative lead of the test voltmeter to terminal D. Right. D, E. A1, A, F, D, E. D. Second one nearest the earth. That's earth at the top, so that's D. That's D there, that's second one down. That's the armature terminal, in effect. Okay, well that's reading 0 at the moment. Why is that reading 0? Should it be reading 0? I'll put the ignition on and start it up and see what happens. Give it some choke. Where's the choke? Here. .09, that's it. 12.09. Well, it should be 15.7 to 16.1. Possibly higher actually, because this is from 10 degrees and the numbers get lower as the temperature goes up. So I'm looking for around about 16 volts, aren't I? Is that right though? How can that be? How can that have 16 volts if the armature is... Oh, okay, yeah. That stops it connecting it to the battery, doesn't it? So the battery won't pull it down. Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's turn that off. Let's turn that screw in a bit. See what happens. So that's the one that we want. So let's turn this screw in. Let's go half a turn. Okay. Like I say, it has to be cold. There's a shunt here that mustn't get hot. That's why I only ran it for a very short time. So I'm looking for the initial reading. Why don't you come here and look over my shoulder? Let's fire it up again and see what that initial reading is. The very first reading. That's right, the voltmeter's come disconnected. Hopefully it didn't get too hot then. Let's try it again. I'm hoping for a change from 12.01. 14.8. Well, that was half a turn and it made quite a difference, didn't it? So let's go another quarter turn. That's a quarter turn. Ready? slightly too much, I'd say. So let's notch it back then, 1/8 of a turn. Okay, ready? Let's go a tiny bit more. Tiny bit more. Right, I read 15.9 then. Let me have a look at the numbers. Yeah, 15.7 to 16.1. That sounds, so I think, yeah, shall we leave it at that then? So let's just see what the ammeter says in the car then. Okay, there's the ammeter. You can see that okay, can't you? Put the ignition on. Oh, yeah, it's not charging, is it? Because I've got that thing in the, yeah, let's, I'll go and take that connector piece out, hang on. I'll take this insulating piece out. That's alright, isn't it? It's actually not as high as that other one. Put the headlights on. Put the main beam on. Well, that's the factory setting, so I assume that's okay. I don't know how many RPM that is. I don't think this thing will be sensitive to it being positive earth. That look right to you? See how many revs I need to make it charge? Oh. Just looking down there, there's the engine's running. Can you see the fan belt's rather loose? So that's not going to be helping, is it? Ooh, don't want to lose my page out of my book. What's the fan, Mart? So let's, okay. I'm leaning the door. Right, to balance that load, it's about there. About 1500 RPM on the engine. bit of information there. What's it sound the bolts at those revs? Just nudging about 13, isn't it? Okay, so there's a little bit of information. Now, what's going on with this fan belt? Oh, it's ever so loose. Okay. Righto. I've got a new one for it. I've got a new fan belt, so I'm going to look about fitting that. Yeah, I think I'll take the battery out just to make a bit of room. About time, I think. Yeah. OptiBelt Super XE Power Pro XPZ812 ISO 1813. Okay, that's good. That ought to cut down on the slippage now. Let's put the battery back in. Let's start it up again then, and see what happens. Okay. Tack. Reset. Don't know what that does. Tack. Let's just start it up. So just a bit of balance in there. So it's about 1300 revs. thing is useless, isn't it? That's balancing the headlights at that. That's about 14 volts there. 14 and a half. 17 volts that is. A bit high, isn't it? Well, I think I might just back it off very slightly, because that looked a bit high then, those volts, didn't it? Oh, that's a bit. I'm not going to go back from there again. I'll turn the engine off. So, right, what can we say? It is quite easy to adjust the voltage thing. So there's the voltage regulator, and you've just witnessed me adjusting it. And to be honest, the volts ended up a little bit high, so I've backed it off a tiny bit. But it's a simple adjustment on the one screw on the regulator part. I'm quite pleased with that. And that was the one that I had on it initially. So I've got good confidence in that one, because that was a reconditioned unit. So I'll put these two back into storage. I don't know why that one doesn't work, but it's actually a different type. The points are down here somewhere. A little bit harder to work on. So that's good. It's working well, and I have more confidence in that. And also, as a side issue, doing this job told me that the fan belt was no good. So it's important to have a good fan belt on the car. So that's a good one. I might order another one as a spare. Just get the numbers and order one. Okay, righto. There's just some tidying up for me to do. So, as always, thanks very much for joining me in the garage for a little bit of tinkering and just closing the chapter on the voltage regulator, because the video that I put out was a little bit, I felt like I could have done a little bit more to close the book on it. Okay, righto. That's been interesting this afternoon. It's quite nice and sunny, but quite cold. But I've enjoyed myself here today. And once you get the engine running, it warms everything up. Okay, righto. Thanks for joining me in the garage then. Take care, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers then. Bye.